Welcome to The Explainer. I am so thrilled to have you here today. If you've been keeping an eye on the tech space lately, you've probably noticed that the modern AI landscape of 2026 is moving, well, incredibly fast. It honestly feels like every single week there's a new language model, some new framework, or a completely new skill you're supposedly already behind on. But hey, don't worry. Today, we are going to navigate that overwhelming terrain together and lay out a really clear, actionable path to your success. Now, it's completely natural to look at the sheer volume of new tools and generative AI concepts out there and ask yourself this exact question. Is it too late? Has the ship completely sailed? The rapid evolution of the field can feel, honestly, incredibly intimidating, especially when you're just standing at the starting line. But I'm here to tell you, based on the actual data, that your timing literally could not be more perfect. Okay, let's dive into this. Just look at these massive growth statistics from our sources. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, they project a staggering 34% growth in the data science job market by 2032. And get this, roughly 90% of the world's entire data was generated just in the last 2 years. Think about that. The world is absolutely drowning in data, but it's starving for insights, and that is exactly where you step in. 2026 isn't too late at all. It's exactly the right time to jump in. To make this data science roadmap manageable, we are going to treat it kind of like an RPG game, where you systematically level up across 6 chapters. Building the foundation, data analysis and visualization, mastering machine learning, the 2026 AI hybrid, MLOps and deployment, and finally, launching your career.
And this brilliantly illustrates how you'll level up over a really realistic 10-month timeline. You'll spend your first couple of months just on the foundation, move into traditional machine learning for months 3 through 6, tackle modern Gen AI in months 7 and 8, and then finish up with rigorous engineering and deployment in months 9 and 10. Leveling up is really just a series of exciting milestones.
Chapter 1. Building the Foundation.
Look, before you even touch a neural network, you really have to understand the math. Step 1 is linear algebra, which is absolutely essential for understanding how data relationships and algorithms actually work under the hood. Step 2 is calculus. And hey, don't panic. You don't need a PhD here. You just need to know how to optimize your models. And step 3 is probability and statistics, which is your main toolkit for handling uncertainty and drawing real, reliable conclusions from your data. Actually, this deep mathematical foundation is exactly what separates the true professionals from the hobbyists.
Next up, we need to equip you with your essential programming toolkit. Python is your primary weapon here, specifically utilizing libraries like NumPy for numerical operations and Pandas for manipulating data. You'll also absolutely need SQL to query and manage large databases. But the real game changer for 2026 is prompt engineering. You absolutely must know how to instruct large language models to write, optimize, and debug your scripts because it fundamentally doubles your coding speed.
Chapter 2. Data Analysis and Visualization.
You see, data is kind of useless without a narrative. As an analyst, your whole job is to translate complex numbers into a compelling story that stakeholders can actually understand and use to drive business impact. To pull this off, you're going to master tools like Excel for spreadsheet analytics, Tableau for interactive dashboards, and Python visualization libraries like Matplotlib and Seaborn. These tools let you clearly and visually communicate the specific insights you've worked so hard to uncover.
Chapter 3. Mastering Machine Learning. We call this the predictor phase.
So you'll start out by mastering traditional algorithms. Step 1 focuses on supervised learning, using things like random forests or linear regression to make predictions based on labeled data. Then Step 2 explores unsupervised learning, think K-means clustering, to find hidden patterns in data that isn't labeled. Finally, Step 3 introduces deep learning. This is the really fun part where you begin building a digital brain using complex neural architectures to process unstructured stuff like images and text.
Let's move to Chapter 4 and see how this builds into the 2026 AI hybrid.
Now, what's really interesting about this transition is that traditional data science was heavily focused on predicting numbers and forecasting sales figures, right? But the modern 2026 data scientist is a hybrid. You're no longer just forecasting, you are now building systems that generate dynamic content and incredibly accurate answers based on user inquiries.
A massive part of this hybrid role involves RAG, or Retrieval Augmented Generation. I know, it sounds super complex, but let's demystify it for a second. Large language models are incredibly smart, but their knowledge is frozen in time, and it's very generic. RAG is the critical bridge that connects a powerful AI model to your company's live proprietary data. It basically ensures the AI actually knows your specific business secrets and current data, rather than just guessing based on random internet knowledge. And that is exactly how you prevent those really embarrassing AI hallucinations.
Building directly on RAG, you're also going to learn how to create AI agents. This marks a massive shift from passive chatbots that just, spit text back at you to active systems that actually execute tasks. Using frameworks like LangChain, you can orchestrate an AI to autonomously solve multi-step problems, browse the web, or even trigger external APIs. You are essentially building an autonomous digital worker. How cool is that? Chapter 5: ML Ops and Deployment. Welcome to the engineer phase.
Because a model sitting on a laptop creates zero value, right? To serve thousands of users, you need some serious, rigorous engineering skills. This means learning DVC for versioning your data, automating pipelines with CI/CD, and using Docker containers so your code runs perfectly on absolutely any computer. You'll also be using cloud infrastructure like AWS, and crucially, this is a big one, implementing LLM Ops guardrails. Those are strict safety layers to keep erratic, probabilistic AI models reliable when they're out in the wild.
Chapter 6: Launching Your Career. This is it, the final boss level.
So, the crucial point here is that to prove these skills to an employer, you need a seriously stand-out portfolio. The roadmap suggests 5 fast-track milestone projects to build as you learn. Project Alpha is end-to-end analytics. Project Beta is a multimodal ML system. Project Gamma is a chat with your company policy tool using RAG. Project Delta is an autonomous travel agent. And your big capstone is a fully cloud-hosted RAG system. If you build these 5 things, you are absolutely golden.
But hey, let's have some real talk for a second. Technical wizardry alone just isn't enough to actually land the job. Your portfolio of projects has to be paired with sharp business acumen. You need to master soft skills like data storytelling, structured business problem solving, and really clear stakeholder communication. You have to be able to look a manager in the eye and clearly explain the why and the actual business value behind all of your complex code.
The roadmap is clear, the tools are completely defined, and the demand in the job market is absolutely massive. The future really does belong to those who understand the math, build the agents, and ship the systems. So, I'm going to leave you with this empowering thought to carry with you. What is the very first step you will take today to level up your data science journey? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I honestly can't wait to see what you build in 2026.